I never know when the thing goes officially live. I just don't get that part sometimes. Okay, let me fix my stuff, and then we'll begin the video. Thank you for tuning in. This is Unleashed, this episode for the new series. You'll see a difference in the title. I had Brad Tragic in there, and I was like, well, I really don't need that. They're coming to the channel. So they'll find out who's hosting, I guess, when they watch the show. So I took that out. Just Unleashed, and it'll say Pro Wrestling Reseller, or whatever it's going to say, whatever kind of video it's going to be. But it's taking forever. What is going on? YouTube. Oh. What are they doing? YouTube is being stupid. What's going on? Yay. Always glitches on YouTube. Can't be denied. Glitches on YouTube. Can't be denied. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Well, the camera's not on. It says turn camera off. It wasn't even on, jackass. Oh, Lordy. Well, it's great. It's awesome. Anyways, the reason why we're here, let's talk about pro wrestling. Sit back, get your beer. I know it's early in the morning. Get your beer, get your snack, sit back. It's going to be a long adventure. You see me get up, see my pajama pants. You know I'm chilling out today. Grab my Mountain Dew over here every once in a while. But I want to get all started off right off with the topic that I didn't talk about in the last video, and honestly, I had no idea what I talked about in the last video. I think I went on a rant. I don't exactly know what the hell I talked about. So if I repeat myself, I apologize. Said make comments on the other video, and I will definitely talk about them in the following video. Somebody made comments on the other video, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. I apologize. I will get to them on the next video. But I will answer your comments, so stay tuned if you want to know what the response is, and I will try to say your name, and I will likely answer your question and then also mention it in the video. But yeah, this is going to be a long one. So let's talk about WrestleMania 31, just around the corner. A lot of speculation. No one knows what's going to happen. No one really has any clue. Is Lesnar going to walk in the world champion, or is he going to vacate the belt before WrestleMania? From a perspective of him knowing that at WrestleMania he'll get a big payday, I'm assuming he will stick around till after WrestleMania. Now therein lies the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is where basically sets in motion for the entire rest of the, I guess, so-called wrestling season, because technically the year begins the Royal Rumble, but the wrestling season ends at WrestleMania. So I guess you could say the year's over, but the wrestling season's almost over to restart. And if WWE starts thinking that way, it'll be a hell of a lot better, because they'll start to realize that it's just like a television show where you need to bring everything to a hold at WrestleMania, and everything needs to finish up. After WrestleMania, fresh product, push new guys, and that's your gung-ho to go to next year. So if they plan on pushing Cesaro, if they plan on pushing Dean Ambrose more, then after WrestleMania would be the time that, okay, maybe we're going to turn him heel, maybe we're going to push him more as a babyface, maybe we're going to make him a tweener more than he already is. I don't know how you could do that. But that's what, they need to do. I try not to get pictures of the background. I didn't want pictures of the background. That's why I have it facing the wall, because I have like junk from Christmas like laying behind there. Just wanted to bring that up because you're like looking at a wall over here. So, yeah. So that's the way the wrestling business should work, but it doesn't. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Who does everybody think is going to win the Royal Rumble? So everybody's going to have their opinion. A lot of people think Daniel Bryan. A lot of people think, I think the majority think it's going to be Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan. Last year is pretty obvious. People thought Daniel Bryan might win it, but as a lot of people mentioned, they not once mentioned that Daniel Bryan was going to be in the Royal Rumble. And Batista was basically the guy that everybody thought was going to win the Royal Rumble, and it happened. A lot of times you'll hear rumors about wrestlers winning the Royal Rumble, and then it just didn't happen. Last year was one of the few times that the rumor mill was saying Batista's going to win the Royal Rumble. Nobody believed it. Nobody was like, bullshit, they're not going to do it. They're going to have Bryan win it. They're going to have, somebody else win it, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Batista won it. No sneaky round the back. Sheamus didn't win it. Ryback didn't win it. Nobody else won it. Batista won it. And this year, I would almost set to believe, I don't think Roman's ready. And I think that they could do it with Daniel. I'm not against Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. And I'm not a huge mark, and OTRS Central, I asked a question on Schleg Daddy's Q&A for Friday yesterday, and he took it as I was like a big Daniel Bryan fan. It's like, yeah, I am a big Daniel Bryan fan, but I'm not like a squirting, masturbating, fool for Daniel Bryan. I'm just a wrestling fan. That's all I am. And going by what has happened, who else? If you're going to disrespect somebody and say that you're just doing it because you're a Daniel Bryan mark, then have a fucking answer ready to say to somebody what your prediction is. Don't say somebody's prediction is stupid if you don't have one to back it up. And if you're not just following the herd, I'm not following the herd. Everybody else thinks that Daniel Bryan because he came back. It's legitimate. Who else could win the Royal Rumble right now and legitimately walk to WrestleMania? Reigns, Orton. Wouldn't be surprised if Cena somehow ends up in the Royal Rumble if he loses to Lesnar and they say, oh, he's the surprise entrant. There's so many people. Big Show. Legitimately, he could win. Maybe his retire story or something and whatever, Dolph Ziggler. Sounds stupid for me to mention Dolph Ziggler because he's been around and they don't seem like they're going to push him. But the weird thing about Dolph Ziggler, and I want to talk about him for just 1 second, is that, is that they had a discussion with him after his Intercontinental win over Luke Harper a couple weeks ago. And it was kind of odd. And I'm like, why are they talking to this guy? And maybe I'm kind of looking outside the box here and seeing something that maybe shouldn't be. But why would they start to talk to wrestlers inside the ring like that if it wasn't for a reason? And I think that more and more they're going to try and find ways to put over these new talent, and that's a great way to do it. It's something they used to do in WCW. They would talk to wrestlers after the match, and you don't see that very often anymore. Now, if they're going to bring that back, then that's great. I love that part. You can bitch and moan if they lost. You see them celebrate, you don't see that very often. I think WWE never really did it. They did it every once in a while, but really they didn't. WCW was the one that did it a lot. Like they would catch them on the way to the ring before the match and then interview them like after the match. And that was something I enjoyed it 100%. And I really hope this video comes out good because it looks like every time I'm doing Google Hangout, it looks like I'm like, like I'm jumpy and shit. Apologize for the language. I didn't say I was going to be cursing, but if you got a kid in the room, I apologize. I'm going to try something with my pop. Ooh, Jesus, I fell to the wall. if anybody has ant problems, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If anybody has any tips on how to get rid of them, you guys let me know. All right. We had this ant problem, and every once in a while, I can't set it down. Can't set this. My Mountain Dew can down on the table. If I do, here comes the ant patrol. Come and they'll invade my Mountain Dew. But that's why I have to sit it far away. I'm trying to sit it back here in front of the TV, and let's hope the ant freaking army doesn't come and attack it. Let's hope that stays there. Oh, let's hope that doesn't get attacked. I'm hoping that's good. If not, I'll just have to get another one. All right. Yeah, that's kind of an outside of wrestling topic, but anyway, ant problems. Anyways, it's not. I live in a filthy house. That's not it. It's we have the screen door to the apartment. Like, I think they come in through there or something. I don't know. We have traps down, but it's not working. I think. I honestly think it's making it worse. But anyways, yeah. But anyway, on with the wrestling topic. The Royal Rumble. So world title wise, I mean, it's pretty up in the air, but you can almost guarantee that you're going to see probably about 5 guys that are probably going to be in the world title scene at WrestleMania. And that's John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Oh, Randy Orton. Randy Orton. He's the guy that some people are starting to mention. And the more I think about it, and Seth Rollins, so 6, my bad. The more I think about it, Dean Ambrose, I guess you can throw him in there as well. So 7, I guess, is a possibility because of what happened throughout the year. So you have those guys as a possibility. I wouldn't see Kane or Big Show winning the Rumble. This just doesn't make sense. But to make sense, those guys would make more sense. My prediction for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 31, it's kind of hard to give a prediction, but if I was going to pick anything, I would say Daniel Bryan will win the Royal Rumble. That's my prediction. And some people think it's stupid, but here's my theory. Now, my theory is he will win and either face John Cena or Brock Lesnar. But then I think about Seth Rollins, and that throws my theory right out the window. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to utilize Seth Rollins. My guess is they're going to hold off on Rollins until after WrestleMania. That's just my guess. He's held about so long, and to me, he's losing lackluster. Like, he's losing his shine. So I don't know. He's never had the shine, I guess. He's losing his heat, kind of. So I don't see the point. The one thing I could see happening, which would be really, really odd, is Rollins winning the Royal Rumble, which would be really, really weird. I can't see that happening now. If anything, I could see Ambrose winning the Royal Rumble and facing, a Cena at WrestleMania, but Rollins cashing in to make it a triple threat match. Another idea that has been thrown around is the fact that that Schleg Daddy mentioned, and I thought it'd be a great idea. Yeah, I'm not going to guess the theory because I don't know how the hell it could happen. I think he went through it, but somehow the Shield ending up as the main event of WrestleMania 31 with the World Heavyweight title on the line, and that would be a very interesting match as well. Now, you've got to think about this, though, because Vince McMahon has a raging hard-on for Randy Orton and John Cena, so I think no matter what, and I guess evidently Brock Lesnar as well, which, a lot of guys have a raging hard-on for Brock Lesnar right now, but anyway, and Daniel Bryan, I guess I can put that out there too. Yeah, so I mean, those 4 guys right there, I'm thinking that's it. I don't think it's Reigns' time, but for Daniel Bryan to come back, people were like, I don't think he's going to win, and I'm just like, legitimate, It's like, And to me, the more I think about it, it's like, why aren't they pushing the fact that he hasn't had his rematch yet? Since he lost the belt, he had to drop the belt. I don't know if they're going to explain that, or they're just like, oh, the fans are stupid. They'll never remember anything about a rematch clause since he had to drop the belt. They do that sometimes. They forget that there are smart fans out there that are going to ask questions and going to wonder why things are happening. But it's really odd. I don't know what's going to happen this year. So I guess that's a good thing, because it's going to be shocking probably when it happens at the Rumble. I really hope Batista does not win the Royal Rumble this year. That has been thrown around as well. And I hope to God they learned from their mistake last year. Don't have it with the Rumble. Oh, God. I could see that happening. It would be so horrible. Or something like wild and crazy, like Kane winning the Royal Rumble or Big Show. Like I said, it's hard to wrap my head around, but I'll just stick with Daniel Bryan. That'll be my prediction for a Royal Rumble. And DB versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. My prediction. Sounds stupid. People don't think it'll work. Either way, Daniel Bryan's probably going to win the belt at some point during 2015. I think it's like, I think he deserves to have a run with the belt, and whether he gets hurt again, whatever. I think that's why he came back. He wanted to have with the World Heavyweight Championship, and put his name in stone in the history books. And I think that's one of the reasons why he came back. And whether he's hurt still and he's just coming back and taking medication, I mean, who knows? But some of the wrestlers nowadays, you never know. You never know. But let's hope it's not that way, and hope he doesn't get really badly hurt and have to retire early, which I can see happening. But the thing with Daniel Bryan, as people don't remember, is he's been around for a while. So he's been around the indie scene for a long time. So he's wrestled a lot. That's kind of like Samoa Joe. Like, if he were to come in to WWE, which he's not coming in probably anytime soon, if he does ever come in, he's not going to be in there very long, because his career has already, he's already wrestled for I don't know how long. So, he's already wrestled for probably 15 years or more, I'm assuming. He's been in ROH, he's been in TNA for a while. As soon as TNA got their TV deal, I think he was basically on there. If I remember correctly, he was basically on there as soon as they got their TV deal. So if he would ever come to WWE, it wouldn't last as long either. So when they talk about Daniel Bryan, not having much time left in his career, it's true. So for people who want to deny him his chance to run with the World Heavyweight Championship and to say that he doesn't deserve it, or they're afraid of his health, it's like, well, what happened to John Cena that one time? Like, John Cena had an injury, I think, a couple years ago, and it completely screwed up the world title scene, and they did so much to try and put him back in the world title thing that it screwed everything up. And probably one of the main reasons that Punk left is because instead of having Punk hold on to the belt, they wanted to drop the belt to Cena. And they had him face Ryback because Cena was not well. And they kind of flipping around the world championship, and finally ended up getting it to John Cena in the most weirdest way possible. It was dumb. It was stupid. And, looking back on it, like I said, and with that, that's why I don't see no problem with Daniel Bryan coming in and automatically winning the Rumble, rocketing up to the main event of WrestleMania 31, because it's believable because of everything that he's done, in the previous year. It's like, yeah, for almost an entire year, which is crazy to think. But you have to think about in the fans' eyes. If you've seen the reaction on Raw when he came back, if anybody can hold that much over time and you still get a reaction when they come back, that sells. And I don't want to compare him to Hulk Hogan, but Hogan gets about the same response. It's probably a little bit bigger than Bryan's, but Bryan gets a pretty damn good response too now. He's getting up there. He's not going to be a Hulk Hogan anytime soon, but if he does get to that level, which I wouldn't doubt he I would not doubt that he couldn't get to that level because I think he could, surprising a lot of people. Do I think he will outshine John Cena? If his career lasts, he could. He could outshine John Cena. It doesn't matter how many title reigns John Cena had. That's a bunch of bullshit. Even though Triple H is, what is he, like freaking 15, 16-time world champion? It doesn't matter. When you compare Triple H and The Rock, how many people are going to say Triple H is the better wrestler because he had that many title reigns, that many different championships? Nobody cares. They'll say The Rock all day long. You know, and the same thing with Stone Cold. They'll say Stone Cold all day long. They will not pick Triple H over somebody just because he had that many title reigns. And I like Triple H. And if I sat and had to choose between who's your favorite wrestler, John Cena or Triple H, I would choose Triple H. If they put who's your favorite wrestler, Edge or John Cena, I would probably pick John Cena because I'm not a big Edge fan. But picking John Cena over someone who credibly is a better wrestler and can tell a better story, because to me, John Cena has trouble telling a story sometimes. And sometimes the story is just not there. That's just my opinion. He has a trouble telling a story. Sometimes he tells them well. Sometimes he tells them good. Sometimes he tells them horribly, and he can't. It's not exciting. You know, him and Punk, you got to have a good dance partner. And I think that's what John Cena is all about. He's not a great performer. He's not a great wrestler. He is a great wrestler, but he won't show it. When he gets in the ring with somebody like Punk, when he gets in the ring like someone like Bryan, which I have not even seen a John Cena and Bryan match ever. So I need to check that out. But I'm assuming it's probably pretty good. When he's in the ring with those kind of guys, Ziggler, he puts on a damn good show. Let's put that in perspective. Why is that? Because they are a great performer. They know how to tell stories. They can make the crowd get into them, being a heel or not. It doesn't matter. Heel or face, they can tell a story. John Cena cannot. And to even make that even more clear, let's put him in the ring with Kane. Let's put him in the ring with the Big Show. Let's put him in the ring with Mark Henry. Now, out of all those stories with the big men, who is the best? Because Big Show can't hardly tell a story. He can tell a story to a point, but the big guys need to have the smaller guys to tell the story with them in order for it to go over very, very well. Mark Henry is very good at telling a story now. He's gotten better. Big Show has gotten better. Well, Big Show's always been pretty good at telling a story. Like I said, he's just got to have that dance partner. One guy I can honestly say that I think, from the perspective of a big guy, that even if the other person sucks completely, he can make them look halfway decent on his own. And that's Kane. He can be maniacal. He can be masked Kane. He knows how to do things. I don't know how over the years he's just gotten extremely good at doing that. Now, there's been times where I think he has kind of just been there and not cared, and you can tell because on the storylines that he didn't care about, you could tell he was just there. He didn't like the storylines. He was doing it because that was his job. But he's one of the guys. So with saying all this, it leads me to believe that Daniel Bryan versus John Cena would be the best thing for the pay-per-view. Now, to get to that point, Rollins would have to cash in at some point and win the belt. Now, would I see him cashing in on Lesnar? Hell no. Why would you cash in on Lesnar? That makes no sense whatsoever. So the only thing I can think that will happen is at the Royal Rumble, John Cena beats Lesnar. It's a hard-fought battle. Lesnar's wore out. And even to go to the point of why not have Lesnar hospitalize Brock? Why not have Cena hospitalize Lesnar and take him out after the match or something with, an attitude adjustment through the table or something like that. Something, I don't even know. Like somehow he gets hurt during the match and they stretcher him out, make a big deal out of it. make a deal where he can't hardly walk out of the ring because it was such a big battle. And then Rollins cashes in. And then, you got a fresh Rollins, you got a severely wore down Lesnar. Who's going to win? Well, of course Rollins is going to win. And then you have the rematch on Raw or the next pay-per-view. Cena gets the belt back. Rollins got his one title reign. He can talk about that, talk about beating John Cena and all this other stuff and have that claim to fame. And, but I truly think that Rollins is going to wait till after WrestleMania to cash it in. I hope he doesn't do it the night after WrestleMania because it'd be really stupid because that's what Dolph did. Now, if he does it and loses, no, that would be different. But I can see him waiting. And the only thing I really haven't seen people do, talking about Money in the Bank, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. The only thing I haven't seen them do yet with the Money in the Bank, and I'm sure there's other scenarios that they haven't done yet. One of them is cash in at WrestleMania for the main championship, like in the main event. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I know Kane did it, I think, on Jack Swagger back in the day, if I remember right. But I don't even think I've seen that. I don't even think I've seen that WrestleMania. I don't even know what WrestleMania that was. I don't think I've seen that one, though. But I know Kane cashed in the same night at WrestleMania, but it's never been for the main championship. That was for the World Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't for the WWE championship. So that's something they can do. But the one I'm thinking about is if Rollins holds on to it until Money in the Bank, the official stamp of the last time the final night that he could use that belt, technically, is to have them hold on to that Money in the Bank. Now, the other side of that is that if somebody won Money in the Bank, let's say Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank this year, which I would probably pick him to win Money in the Bank this year. Who else would win it, him or Reigns? Either one would work. And at the end of the night, whoever the world champion was, Bryan, Cena, one of the two, maybe Orton, I don't know. He would cash in as well. So for the first time ever, there'd be two Money in the Bank winners cashing in on the same night. Something maybe they're thinking about doing. Who knows? Seeing crazier things are always wanting to make history, and that would be something that would make history. The only thing about it is I kind of wish they would get rid of Money in the Bank and put it back at WrestleMania. That would draw something, and now since they lost the streak, maybe that's what they're thinking. I'm hoping that's what happens, and maybe we'll see a double Money in the Bank cash in before that, because if they do it, at WrestleMania this year, that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Very, very awesome. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. The other championships, I mean, I can't really. It looks like Ryback fighting each other, but then I saw Roman taking on Rusev, so I don't really know. Either match would be pretty awesome. I think that we would see a Rusev. I think I don't want to say Rusev being undefeated and not losing very much is a problem. But I think to really cement that Rusev, they want him to be a big star, is to have him beat either Ryback or Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, they don't want Ryback to lose. That's my thing, and that's what I would hate that would happen at WrestleMania. I'm losing my voice. Hold on a second. But I don't want that to happen. I don't want Ryback to lose. So, with that said, they worked on bringing Ryback back, and now it's in full force. Ryback is back, and people are behind him. I'm hoping they're not going to make the mistake like they did before, and I don't think they will, because I think they know that he's going to work better as a babyface than he is a bad guy. And my opinion is, if they're going to put him against Rusev, he's going to have to win. If they put Rusev in a match against Reigns, if they don't have plans for him to win the World Championship this year, I would have Reigns lose. Doesn't matter. Have him lose at WrestleMania. Give Rusev his moment to shine. Give him the huge shine, the heat, whatever you do to the guy when you give him a lot of push. Give him that. Then at Extreme Rules, have a tables match or something, have Reigns put him through it, win the U.S. Championship. There you go. You can go back and forth with U.S. belt with them for 3 or 4 months, but whatever. I can see either Ryback or Reigns having a good match with him. Ziggler, the Intercontinental Champion. Who knows who's going to have a championship before WrestleMania? Even if they're even going to have the U.S. or IC on the card, I can see it being Ziggler and I don't really know who would be his opponent. I don't even think I can really guess. I mean, really. I guess if I had to pick somebody, maybe Damian Sandow, possibly Damian Sandow. Because to me, the logical choice, I would say Cody Rhodes or Goldust. Lose them always. But they're probably going to be a match against each other at WrestleMania, I'm assuming, as they're building that up. Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt. If they were going to give Bray a title, maybe the IC, but I don't think he needs a belt. That's just the thing. And they keep on saying stuff about the belts where, the belts are for people who need them. And Bray doesn't really need a belt. But if they were going to put him in a match at WrestleMania, put him in a match with Ziggler, have him have a great match, have Bray get the win over Ziggler, have him win the IC championship. And then if you wanted, you could have, maybe Rowan come in, attack Bray, have him lose the belt. That would set up Roman to go. I don't know. I'm having I see belt's kind of hard. The women's title, who gives a shit? They're gonna crap all over that belt anyway. The only thing I think could be the saving grace for the women's championship right now is to have Paige and AJ like in some kind of Iron Woman match or something at WrestleMania. That to me is the only way, like, that you'd be like, ooh, I'm excited for that. Anything else is just going to be shit. The only other thing I could say is to have the Charlotte come in before WrestleMania. That is the only other thing. Has Charlotte come in before WrestleMania. And if you don't know who Charlotte is, fucking watch NXT, for God's sakes. Ric Flair's daughter. And Ric Flair be a part in it. Have Ric Flair help Charlotte win the women's championship at WrestleMania. That would be a moment. That would be a huge moment at WrestleMania if they would do that. Whomever the champion is. It doesn't matter who the champion is. If Charlotte goes over, has an awesome match. I mean, all that needs to happen is to make Charlotte and have a great women's match at WrestleMania is to have Charlotte wrestle, have a clinic with AJ Lee, have a clinic with Paige, whoever it is, have an awesome match. She can do it. If you've seen NXT, go watch some. If you have the network, go watch some NXT matches with her in it. Watch our Evolution. That match right there will change your view about women wrestling, and they can do things in the ring. That match was pretty amazing. It's probably one of the best matches I've seen in a long time in women's wrestling, and probably goes back to a time when I think Lita had some really good matches with Trish Stratus back in the day. And I'm not a huge women wrestling fan, so that tells you something. But if they went out there and had a clinic at WrestleMania 31 and Ric Flair interfered, cost AJ the belt, that would set a lot of things in motion, and it would give Charlotte the belt, the WWE Diva Championship, and it would set a lot of things in motion, and it would put Charlotte at the top of that division and really set everything in motion. That's the only way I could see me getting excited about Divas. And tag team belts, who really gives a shit? This is what I want to happen at WrestleMania. I want the Usos and I want the Ascension and I want them in the tables, ladders, chairs match. And maybe throw in, if they weren't going to break up Cody and Goldust, I would put them in a ladder match. I would put them in a TLC match at WrestleMania. That's what I would do. If you're going to make it a 3-team thing, that's what I would make it a TLC match. That would make people interested in it. Other than that, I would have the Ascension versus the Usos and them put on a great match. Even a street fight would be interesting. I think if they built that up before WrestleMania, with Ascension just beating up the Usos like constantly on Raw and making them just act like bullies toward the Usos. And then at WrestleMania, just have an all-out brawl with the winners, being the Ascension. Either way, they've got to start having more moments at WrestleMania. How many moments, really? Last year, we had Daniel Bryan winning. Ooh, the world, that's a gimme, The world champion, if it changes hands, it's a moment. Ooh, you got to give us more moments than that, something that happens during the night, the streak ending, that's a moment. That's a moment. WrestleMania 30 is going to be remembered for that moment. Who cares about the world title changing hands? Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, that was a moment. Even though Vince thinks that Cesaro sucks ass, it was a moment. You gave us a moment. Now capitalize on that, jackass. If Cesaro sucks so damn bad, this is my whole thing. If Cesaro sucks so damn bad, why did you push him? Why did you have him win a Battle Royal like that? That doesn't make any sense to me. He sucks ass, but I'm going to have him win a very huge Battle Royal and make him be a part of a panel at SummerSlam with the big stars. I think Vince is kind of calling bullshit there. But now that we've seen him getting demoted and getting tag teamed up with Tyson Kidd, are you fucking kidding me? Sorry for my language, but it is ridiculous, It's like, is Vince blind? He needs to fire some writers. That's what he needs to do. And evidently they're so retarded that they can't see what's right in front of their face. And that is Cesaro is a big star. He needs to fucking get pushed. Give him a damn manager. Hell, give him Natalya. If this is where it's going to lead, if Natalya is going to get with Cesaro, and it's going to be a big deal, and they're going to be a stable, let's do it. Have Tyson Kidd be the IC guy and US guy. Have him be a tag team for a little bit, win the straps, drop the belts, go single, whatever. If that's what it takes, then let's do it. And, you put Cesaro with a guy like Tyson Kidd, who it's almost like you're going to make another world's greatest tag team with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. They couldn't wrestle, or no, they can wrestle. Never mind. They can't talk. That's what I meant. They can't really talk. But they can wrestle like no one's business, And, Cesaro can talk. That's the thing. He can talk. That's why I don't understand what Vince said that, he has his own way of talking. And I think the way over, I don't get the whole Cesaro thing. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't understand. He should have been, he was, and then they just dropped the belt, and then nothing happened. It's kind of like Sandow. Like, Sandow was on a big thing, and now he's dropped. It's like, it's the writer's fault. It has no one else but the writer's fault. It's like there's no one else. They're getting over. That's the whole point of professional wrestling. And maybe I'm missing something. This is not the whole point, is to get over, and the fans like him. And if Vince McMahon says, oh, well, he doesn't have very good mic skills, well, that's why we're not going to push him. Fuck it. Give him a manager then. What doesn't make any sense? Like, that's what we've heard like a billion times about the wrestling business, is that if the crowd likes you, you get over, you get the shine, you continue to do well in wrestling. And now it's like Vince had that podcast with Austin, and now I think a lot of people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? If the fans love him and they're behind him, and Austin even knows this, he's talking about it, But yeah, he says he doesn't. They're not grabbing the brass ring. No, your writers are not grabbing the brass ring. They're putting donuts in their mouth or something, and they're not writing shit. That's what the problem is. So I don't know what the hell is. I don't understand. I don't understand at all. I could definitely write a better show than what they can do. I could write a show that would blow them out of the water compared to what they do now. I guarantee you, if they were in a fantasy world, they could give a chance to half the show with no restrictions, as long as no belts change hands. That would be a caveat. And they would still put on a damn better show than the writers that they have right now. It's just ridiculous what they do. It's like they got the wrong people as heels, they got the wrong people as faces, and the people were cheering for heels were booing faces. They don't get it. They're lost. The writers are lost. Vince is lost. Triple H is. I think Triple H is pretty good. I think he understands the business a lot, but I think he's probably been pushed around a lot by the writers and Vince. I think if Vince has let Triple H go and let him do it the way he thinks the company should be run, him and Stephanie, I think it would do better. Do I think a lot of the people are holding their spots? Possibly. But I mean, it's got to a point where you're going to say, okay, sorry, Cena, you suck now. Your story is stale. Unless you want to change your character, we're going to have to put you in the mid card. This comes down to it. I don't care about merchandise sales. Screw it. Turn him into Hacksaw Jim Duggan, all right? Do it. Just turn him into Hacksaw Jim Duggan and move people up. Because if he's not willing to do something different with his character, then whatever. Let bygones be bygones. Turn him into Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Have him come out every week. Have a match. I do adjustment. 1, 2, 3. Meaningless match every fucking week. Doesn't matter. Who cares? If they don't want to help the company, then screw them. The company is drowning. Now, what some people was saying was that the company is not improving, and that's where I disagree. The company is getting better. I do think that. People saying it's not getting better, I call bullshit. Because 2 years ago, did they have anybody that you enjoyed watching? And to a degree, some of the wrestlers are still there. But Kofi, you don't see Kofi on. If he's on TV, it's like whatever. It's stupid. And the matches are dumb. They don't make sense. There's no story following anything, minus a few start and stop storylines that he's had over the past couple of years. But Dolph Ziggler's one that everybody enjoys, and that's about it. I think Dolph is like the only one that you enjoy seeing. I enjoy seeing Kane no matter what the fuck he does. He could be corporate Kane, whatever. I don't care. I like Kane. He's cool. But lately, I mean, now you got Bray Wyatt, you got Dean Ambrose, you got Seth Rollins. Whether he's heel or not, people like seeing him. You got Roman Reigns now. When he's gone, whatever. I like Luke and Rowan. I think they're pretty cool. Rowan's kind of creepy looking, but whatever. I like him. I like the Ascension now. I mean, I watch NXT and I jizz my pants because all these people are going to come up eventually. And when they do finally get there, what people say is there's not a boom period and there's not one coming anytime soon. I call bullshit. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's probably going to be around 2020. It's going to blow up. WWE is going to blow up. It's going to have a lot of major stars in there. There's going to be a lot of people that are around. If not, it'll be in the years from 2015 to 2020, somewhere in between. The boom period will officially happen because you have all these people coming in. You've got Kevin Owens. You've got Kenta, Hideo Itami, whatever they want to call him, Finn Balor. You got freaking Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, all these other people, and everybody else in NXT that you see. Most of them are probably going to make up the main roster. Everybody you see now, and I know we're going to lose people. Probably Kofi will get released at some point in the next 2 or 3 years, I guarantee you. Cesaro will probably get released. Stupidly, he probably will get released. Tyson Kidd will probably get released. And we'll see other people come in as well that, we have no clue. But I think the boom period is coming. I think that people that say that it's never coming or not anytime soon is a bunch of bullshit, because if you watch the product and you consistently watch the product, I think the WWE understands and they're trying to understand what we like, but they're not going about it the right way. But you do see the polls that they're asking on WWE.com, and I think that has something to do with them trying to figure out what we want. And I do think, the poll was said this, and everybody wants this guy. What if we give them this guy instead, and then this guy comes in later and has a match on Raw with this guy, because we know that's what they want to see, And I think they're kind of are using the polls to kind of see what we want, and they kind of use that, but that's just my opinion. So I don't think I want to take this video any more longer. It's probably been over an hour long. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, all the topics I talked about. Boom period is coming for WWE, contrary to what OTR Essential Schleg Daddy says or anybody else. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I'm just waiting for it. My last question for you guys is, will Triple H step in the ring at WrestleMania 31? Will he face Sting? I think he will. Who do you think is going to face Sting at WrestleMania? Because I really think it's going to happen this year. I think with him showing up at Survivor Series, it's inevitable. That's my question for you guys. Nobody answers it. I'll talk about it next time. How about that? WrestleMania predictions, Royal Rumble predictions. Give them all below. Let me know what you think. My predictions, I didn't really give you much about the undercard, but I told you the main event. I said I was going to talk about CM Punk, so I guess I'll kind of shoot that real quick. I'll talk about it next time, probably more in depth. But basically, what I think about the whole Punk scenario is that if the whole reason why he left was because of the infection that he had, then it's legitimate. But it still shouldn't have been a reason to quit the business, And I think it was kind of like a Jeff Hardy thing where he was burnt out and, whatever. I think that he'll do this UFC thing and he'll probably come back in probably 5 years or so. That's just my prediction. I think, he'll realize what he truly loves is pro wrestling. And I think it'll matter how the product gets. If the product gets better, if John Cena's character does differently, he may come back. Is Ryback still a star there? If something happens with him, he may come back. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, I think, with the CM Punk thing. And the whole matter is that, I still enjoy Punk. He's a great guy. He was a great character for the company. And am I mad at him leaving? Yeah, I think everybody's mad at him leaving. We invested a lot in him. We cheered for him. We wanted for him to succeed. And then he kind of craps on us by just kind of leaving. And waiting that long to say, why he left. I think it was very, very rude. And as a pro wrestler, I think you've got to realize that in today's age, there's social media everywhere, and he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't do anything. Nobody knew anything. Nobody knew why he left, and people were just speculating that he was coming back all the time, that he was going to come back at WrestleMania and all this other stuff. But, in all honesty, I thought it was rude of him that he didn't make any announcement sooner, but I'm not going to hold it against him, and I think that I'll follow him at UFC and see how he goes with that. I hope he has success with that. But I'll talk more in depth about CM Punk thing probably next time, and I'll also talk about Sting appearing at WrestleMania. I hope you guys enjoyed the wrestling show today, Unleashed. I hope you guys tune in to other products or other products. I guess it's kind of a product anyway. Other shows, if you're interested in reselling, or the other Unleashed when I do one of those, which will just basically be me ranting and raving about everything and anything besides pro wrestling and reselling. Look forward to that. That's it. Later, guys, and keep on rocking. This is Brad Tragic.